What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here, and today is part... Today I'm bringing to you some more Hero or Villain Genesis. So let's get right into this. You wake up quite late on Saturday morning, feeling rather tired from the long week behind you. Slowly getting out of bed, you relax around your apartment for a while, calmly having breakfast before deciding what to do during the weekend. You check your phone and find a couple of messages there. Your friend Arthur is proposing to go for a late lunch at a nice Asian... Sorry. I may yawn throughout this video. I got plenty of sleep, it's just that I think I woke up too early. At a nice Asian fusion restaurant, which opened a few months ago. He is a bit of a foodie, and most of his social activities tend to be centered around eating at the trendiest restaurants. Then again, he has a food column in a fashion magazine, so he has managed to merge his hobby and work. You've known Arthur for several years. After casually starting to talk to each other at an airport, the flight you were both supposed to be on had been delayed, and the airline gave you some food coupons to go eat something. I was furious at the time, shouting at the air employees. I was arguing for more coupons so I could go to a restaurant more appropriate to my status. I was looking for somebody else to have a meal with, as it's always good to kill time in the company of others. I was a bit lost as to where to go, and Arthur approached me about going to eat something. Let's go with the last one. Arthur was standing next to you and succeeded in convincing you that you could get a great meal with the coupons that you had. It seems he was happy to show off his knowledge about restaurants in the airport, given that you didn't have anything else to do. You decide to follow him. The restaurant turned out to be very good, and you found out quite a lot about him during this time. Oh, man, I'm yawning today. He was born in St. Augustine in Florida and proceeded to explain the long history of the town since its founding by the Spanish around the middle of the 16th century. Eventually, you went on to study logistics in college, and after a brief period of teaching English in Korea, he decided to return to New York to work. Apparently, his time in Korea was good. Though, eventually, he felt he outgrew the place and realized that he had to move when all his friends left the country. Nevertheless, he spoke enthusiastically about South Korea's cuisine. I told him he was an idiot for being so obsessed with food. I corrected him. Chinese food is obviously the best. I was rather indifferent, but it was nice listening to him. Arthur was rather surprised about your lack of interest regarding the cuisine of other countries, but was happy that you were prepared to listen to him. At the end of the meal, you exchanged phone numbers and have remained friends ever since. You often turn to Arthur when you want some information about where to go for a meal, and he often turns to you when he wants to try new places. Sometimes, although such a sometimes through such events, you have met some of his friends or acquaintances. In fact, the second message is from somebody you met through him, Charlotte. You got introduced to Charlotte at an upmarket fusion restaurant that Arthur had just discovered. That day he had invited both her and Charlotte and Christine, though it was clear from the start that he was rather interested in Charlotte. However, Charlotte refused his advances throughout the coming weeks, and eventually they fell out. It would thus seem strange that she is inviting you to do something now. But unlike Arthur, it often felt as if she was not so gifted at making new friends. She is in charge of a small travel agency that caters to rich that caters to rich people and is always looking for interesting new exotic places to send her clients to. Despite this, most of her interactions appear to be by email or texting, and she is rather quiet in person. However, you do remember a few things about her from that dinner. The few times she spoke was to talk about some of the exotic locations she had visited, and you were all impressed to find out she had been to over 100 countries. Her eyes always seemed to get lost in the distance when talking about some of these locations, and you wondered at the time whether she would be happier to be there than in New York. It seems that she is proposing for you to go see a photo exhibition about the Ariel Sea in. Okay. I'm going to Zibiscustan. Ubiscustan. Zabiscustan. However you pronounce that word. Let's go. Actually, I'll just go for a walk around Central Park by myself. You aren't really in the mood to meet anybody today, so you decide to go for a walk around Central Park alone. The park is beautiful at this time of the year, with many people jogging or strolling around enjoying this oasis of calm in the center of bustling Manhattan. Your mind rewinds some of the events of the past few days when you notice that Captain Velarde's radio starts to flash. Once again, the captain is calling for help. A loud siren can be heard in the background, and you guess that she must be in a police car racing somewhere. The voice of the captain sounds worried. Any heroes listening? We have a situation. I repeat, we have a situation. The Steel Aeronaut is attacking the Museum of Natural History. Several police officers down. target appears to be the meteorite stone. I repeat, Steel Aeronaut is attacking the Museum of Natural History. Megapuma, if you hear this, please help us. You're the only one in this city with experience against the Steel Aeronaut. Luckily, you are only around the corner from the Museum of Natural History, and you could be there in a couple of minutes. You rush toward the edge of the park, put your suit on in an alleyway, and fly to the museum. Obviously, the Steel Aeronaut is after the stone. But with what intention? At this point, you realize that you don't even know if whoever is behind the aeronaut has any real powers, or is just somebody who is naturally intelligent enough to design such a suit of armor. The technology appears decades more advanced than the best military technology you have ever heard of, but who knows what the military is really up to these days. Maybe the motive to make a massive profit from selling the stone. You can imagine that quite a number of supervillains would be willing to pay a small fortune for it, even though you are unsure as to whether a second stone would further increase somebody's powers. If they do, and the person behind the aeronaut is already enhanced, the prospects of it obtaining another stone are rather worrying. The museum is a rather impressive building, and between the column lining its facade, you see massive banners advertising the latest exhibition. The Stone of Heroes. Beneath the title, there is the image of the stone that they must be exhibiting, which essentially looks like a smaller version of the one that gave you your powers. Several police officers lie injured in the staircases outside of the museum, with some others helping to carry the injured away. While dozens of visitors run out screaming, you can also hear sirens approaching from every direction, though in this case, you seem to have arrived before the police have set up a proper roadblock. The injured officers must be part of those that were protecting the museum, as you remember the newspaper article a few days ago saying that the security would be high. acrobatically jump around to the entrance, making myself hard to hit.
Was he trying to escape?
Time is of the essence. You pass through the main door and head towards the section where the exhibition is being held. Visitors are screaming and trying to escape through the doors or curling up in corners. You come across more injured police officers, though none of them seem to have been killed. Probably the steel aeronaut doesn't really perceive them as a threat and has just powered ahead rather than trying to finish any of them off. The first rooms of the special exhibit area, of the special exhibition area, detail what is known around about the rocks so far, and have pictures of a number of the most famous superheroes. Many of the CCTV cameras have been destroyed by blasts. Ignoring it all, you continue until you reach the main exhibition hall. Okay, that's cool. Once again, you find the steel aeronaut hard at work, carefully attempting to cut open the large crystal display case that protects the meteorite stone with a laser beam. Just as you enter the room, the display finally breaks, leaving the stone exposed. However, this time a sensor within the steel aeronaut must have detected your presence. Okay, that's freaking awesome. The steel aeronaut rapidly turns toward you, speaking in a mechanical, genderless voice. Mega Puma, you're slowly starting to become an annoyance. I must warn you that I made some improvements since the last time we met, though I would prefer to leave quickly with what I came for. Stand aside. Indeed. Indeed, you see that there seems to be some changes to the machine, and the gun mounted on its arm is bulkier and far more protected than last time. Surrender quickly. You know you cannot beat me. Finally, the talking piece of junk again. I've missed you. All that will do is enrage the giant robot. Let's not do that. You won't be able to run away this time. I'm sure that you are aware that it is my duty to stop you. You really think you are going to be able to get away with that? Fly and pick up the stone. Teleport to the stone and pick it up. Teleport to the stone, pick it up, and immediately teleport outside of the building. let's teleport to the stone and pick it up. Remember earlier how we told you that the first 3 chapters are available for free? This is the end of the free content. To find out what happens next, please purchase the remaining chapters. Buy it now for $3.99. If you've already purchased, click here to restore purchases. You know what I have to say about that? No! I'm not giving you any of my money! Okay, guys. That was short. I obviously did not know how long this was going to be, but here's the thing I gotta say. This is an app that is free to download. But as far as free to play, or in this case, free to read, why don't you just give us all the content for free instead of giving us 3 chapters, then saying you gotta buy the rest of the chapters? No. So anyway, guys, I hope you like this video. Subscribe and hit that notification bell because without that you will not know when I upload, which I upload once a day usually. And don't forget to sound off in the comments section below, because I love hearing from all you beautiful people. I'm Hardcore Christopher. Keep it hardcore, everyone.